So our top story at this hour, residents of Tshwane have taken to the streets in protest against undocumented migrants living in South Africa. The residents say that they've had enough of undocumented migrants operating businesses in South Africa without paying taxes. They say that calls to government, in fact, to take action have also fallen on deaf ears. Meanwhile, a group of foreign nationals who are working as hawkers on the streets of Marabastad in Pretoria say that they're not going anywhere. So we're going to be joined via Zoom by Corlett Letlojane. She's Executive Director at Human Rights Institute of South Africa. Corlett, good afternoon. Thank you for your time with us here on the SABC.
Good afternoon and greetings to the listeners and viewers.
Let's talk to the issues from both sides at this point as it stands. How did tensions flare up once again?
I think these tensions have been really growing for quite some time in South Africa. We have witnessed these types of violence that have been aggravated by the fact that there's been delays in documenting persons in South Africa who are coming in seeking asylum, and also the economic migrants. So we see that this has been happening for many years. That has really left communities in society not in harmony with migrants. And also the problem is that we are mixing those that are involved in criminal syndicates versus peaceful persons that are genuine, that are really in need of asylum, those that have actually fled persecution in their own countries. So we have a convention of the African Union that encourages member states to provide support to persons who are fleeing persecutions, who are seeking asylum in member states in their countries.
Corlett, on the back of that, thank you for those sentiments. We're obviously just looking at the patterns from where this has emerged. In relation to what is occurring this week, we're obviously seeing Tshwane residents taking to the streets, foreign hawkers in Marabastad saying that they're not going anywhere. At this point, have there been any incidents on record? What are the human rights violations occurring, perhaps as this week-long protest also occurs?
Yes, I think the harassment, the intimidation, and the denial of persons, exercise their freedom of expression as well of assembly and association, and for people to acquire shelter as well, because these conventions that we have, binds the state to treat every human being humanely without any discrimination. There has been death as well. People have been murdered. There have been broken or damage of their properties. And also those, random arrests that are often happening. Now, the problem is that much as, the issue has become so complicated for law enforcement and the citizens in South Africa, how to, address the issue. I think the major problem is that we have not been very consistent in providing, in processing documents, in processing all those applications timelessly, and also be in a good position to establish who is here, who is a genuine case, or those people that are arriving undocumented, and also for ulterior motives. So it's not everyone who's committing crimes in the country. And actually, we've seen that some law enforcement, they happen to be involved in some of the criminal activities that have now been spread out as being committed only by the foreign nationals.
I actually wanted to get into that point. We need to dispel some of the myths and the stereotypes around the situation. And I wonder whether you could speak to if these protests have been sporadic. Has someone incited or instigated it? If so, by whom? We're looking at police and law enforcement and security, perhaps there to quell the tensions. Have they been effective? What's also been the response from the mayor?
These protests, I think we are not seeing this for the first time. We did see some groupings that have really coordinated themselves, particularly since the announcement of the termination of the special dispensation permits for the Zimbabweans. So there has been a number of those kind of protests. And during COVID-19, I think the situation really was quite worse. And these groups now, they have also been involved in some form of litigations, assisting those that are finding themselves, about to lose their right to live in South Africa due to this termination of the permit of Zimbabweans. Now, they see that, there's continuous extension of their time, not of provision of a valid permit to live in the country, because they've been in the country for many years, for over 10 years, they've been in the country. And then also, we do see groups that are also informal traders, those that are, living on the streets, surviving by selling all those, food and fruits and vegetables on the side roads. And those ones, I think that they have got a document that allows them to be reporting, quarterly or so to the Department of Home Affairs to determine whether status have been granted and so forth. Now that, is set status of affairs, because those people, when they arrive in South Africa, first, they don't have a home, they don't have a shelter, they are not even working. So they survive by conducting such business. And then we also have our own informal traders who conduct same business. And so there's always competition as to who is purchasing and where are you going. So there is no harmony. And those communities are saying that the government is really imposing this type of competitions, because there are certain businesses that they feel that they should be, earmarked specifically for the South Africans, and others should be doing. So now we do have people who need these jobs because we don't grant them any support. People don't have that kind of support. Basic needs, they need to pay for bread and butter and so forth.
Corlett, let me interject here quickly, just in the interest of time, because your point has been made, and I want to link what you've just echoed ahead of World Refugee Day as we highlight the plight of undocumented migrants. How would you weigh in on that?
Well, today is an important day. This is one significant period in our time where we need to review how this AU convention is making an impact to the lives of people. How are the member states ensuring that there's solidarity, there's harmony, there's social cohesion, there's compassion, there's support, and for us to have laws that are very conducive, that will have that enabling environment for people to seek and receive documents. And those who do not qualify, they do not, we don't keep them in the country, prolonging their wait to the extent that they find themselves maybe be co-opted in some of the by some of the criminal syndicates that we cannot say no, they are existing. However, we cannot carry on in this way, because the situation has boiled down into disarray. And we have also called for the special rapporteur on the rights of refugees, migrants, and asylum seekers in Africa to visit South Africa, because there was a resolution which our organization and other human rights defenders did push at the African Commission, calling for the government of South Africa to protect the rights of migrants and to ensure that they are not threatened, including their properties. In that resolution, the South Africa was requested to invite the special rapporteur to come and assist us to address the issue. That was in 2008, and now it's 2023. There has not been any progress. Maybe this is the time that we need to be vocal and call, because this violence is not good for the country and for all those that are in the country seeking asylum.
And absolutely, we're going to have to monitor developments as it unfolds, perhaps throughout the week. But thank you for your time with us here on the SABC. Corlett Letlojane, the Executive Director at Human Rights Institute South Africa. Just weighing on these scenarios unfolding, we heard of residents in Tshwane having taken to the streets in protest against undocumented migrants living in South Africa. We'll continue to monitor as developments unfold there.